Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Like I can literally feel the love in the room. Like it feels like it's been so long since we've been here, but I'm excited to see your faces, your names, and excited to have you back here. Thank you so much, Emanuela, for doing a very fantastic job as always. And thank you for all the warm birthday wishes, everyone. I do not intend to, waste our time today. I see that we're already 15 minutes past the time, and we do have a couple of things to touch today. So I'm just going to jump right into it. As while I jump right into it, for those who have not met me, don't worry, I'll give you the opportunity to meet me somewhere in between my presentation. But I first want you to, I know what we're here to talk about the lighters up, but I want to first introduce you to someone. This person is called Subject X. Let's just give her that name. Or him. It could be a girl, it could be a boy, man or woman. But this person is Subject X. And from the look of things, Subject X is a very brilliant person. But this person is an individual who really asked for help, who felt like, you know, they have this independence of their own, they have these superpowers, they just do things by themselves. Like this person could be anyone in the room, but I just want you guys to get to know this person before we move forward. So, and if you see yourself anywhere in subject X, please feel free to put in the chat box, I see me. Just put, I see me. Or just like me, I will understand what you're talking about. But I'll break it down for you who subject X was, man or woman. This person was a continuous student or is a continuous student, always buying books, always taking courses. You always see this person, oh, I'm learning something. There's something to learn here. There's a knowledge to pick there, but they're never implementing because it feels like they have not yet amassed all the knowledge they want to amass. Sometimes this person could also experience something called the creative freeze, which is like you're having so many gifts, so many options. It seems ideas never keep coming. Idea now water. But when it's time to implement those ideas, analysis paralysis begins. Like they will analyze and, and start peeling every layer as if they are dealing with onions. You know the way onions have different layers, right? So this person usually experiences creative freeze from time to time. At the same time, this person could also be someone who experiences a notebook graveyard, meaning that they have massive ideas, they have plans on paper, they almost always with a book, writing down ideas. They're inside the shower, ideas are popping, ideas now water, everything is just flowing. But when it comes to directional flow, like, okay, this is how you begin, this is how you start small, this is what you do, it just seems like they don't understand how to proceed in that space. Sometimes this person could also be someone who has a short-lived fire, meaning that on Monday they're on fire, they are burning like, oh my God, this week is going to be a great week. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, just like, see, we can't even kill ourselves in this world. Just take it easy. Our life is not that hard. Everything just vanishes by Thursday or Wednesday. Sometimes this person could also be someone that experiences this isolation shield, meaning that maybe for one reason, best known to themselves, they just feel clueless and they just isolate themselves and stay hidden. Oh, I don't like to put myself out there. Is it really necessary to put myself out there? I'm just okay where I am. No one needs to. I mean, I don't need to be out there. I'm fine as long as I'm making my money. I mean, what's the big deal? I'm okay. And this person sometimes would also experience something called the keyhole view, meaning that they're most times not in the company of people, or they just keep their decisions to themselves. If they have to make decisions, it's from this keyhole view compared to like a bird eye view, right? Where you can have like a multitude of counsel, but they usually just make decisions from their own limited sight. And this person could also be someone that has hidden assets. You know, those people that you hear them speak for like 5 minutes. You know there is potential in this person. They are loaded, right? They have wisdom, skills, they have value, but everything seems to be completely locked up inside a closed room. Right? They're okay where they are. They don't think they should really put themselves out there. And so no one even knows they carry this kind of value that is embedded inside of them. And most times they could also have this lone wolf reflex, meaning that I'm okay, I can take care of myself by myself. Who needs anybody? Who needs anyone? Like, I can be my own chef, be my own everything, be my own advisor, be my own counsel, be my own everything. This is subject X. Does anyone relate to this subject X that I just described? I didn't see any me in the chat box, but does anyone relate? Have you ever at any point felt like I'm subject X or subject X is me? Well, I want you guys to take a poll, and I'm starting with this particular poll, and it's going to pop up right on your screen. If you are being completely honest with yourself, let's take away, and you came into this room, if you have titles, please go back and drop those titles at the door. I don't want titles in this room. I just want individuals. So if you're completely honest with yourself without your titles, what does your current daily reality feel like? So let me end the poll and share the results. Okay. All right. So right there on the screen, you see the highest number of people here are like lone rangers. They're like the lone wolf. I'm constantly surrounded by people. I have classmates, but I'm still navigating my life transitions completely alone. I'm alone. At the end of the day, 73% of people feel like that, or 73% of people voted that way. And then we also have people that are compartmentalists, and we also have that, pairing with the survival loop, and we have 36% flashing red. I don't want you to feel horrible about this result. It is just what it is, and that's why we're here to talk about it. And this is what I'm going to talk to you next about. So there is something called the modern silo, right? And when you're thinking about the modern silo, I want you to imagine like it's like an invisible wall that we build around ourselves to survive. And sometimes it could happen maybe when you're living your life in different boxes, right? As I said, I talked about compartmentalizing your life. You're living in different boxes. One version of you is presenting someone who is like an high achiever, who is successful, the successful version of you, who is polished. Another part of you, right, is another version of you is presenting someone who is constantly exhausted, right? Another corner of it is presenting someone who feels like this spiritual dryness and this spiritual, like I'm just exhausted. It feels like things are happening all together. That's something that you call a modern silo. And this is a reality for most of us who are in Nigeria, or not only in Nigeria, but people, everywhere. This is a reality that we're experiencing in today's century. Survival mode tends to be the default that many just tilt towards, right? Because there's a lot of things happening. You're having people experience career shifts, experiencing economic pressure, experiencing health, challenges. Some people could also be experiencing social media noise. People could also be experiencing, so many people could be fighting internal battles that just allows us to just pull into ourselves, right? And so sometimes you have people having this hyper independence trap, which means that is about everyone is for themselves. Please, I can't ask for help. I'm okay, because everybody, they'll tell you people are also going through a lot. So you see, just stay where you are and don't overwhelm people. Or you could also be someone who is like probably feeling like my relationships are transactional. They are not relational. Transactional relationships are relationships where you're giving and you're getting, like you have to give to get. You're having friends who only want to be around you because of what they want to extract from you, right? If you are in your downtime, nobody cares. Everything just seems to be about transactions. I'm reaching out to you because there's something I want to get from you, not really because there's a relationship that has been built around our friendship, right? Or there could also be, it could also come in the form of a performance shield. I like to call this one like a LinkedIn illusion. You know the way LinkedIn is, right? It's the place for professional networking where everyone seems to be looking so perfect. You go to LinkedIn and you're like, oh my God. Sometimes you feel for yourself because you're like, professional success everywhere, but why does it feel like I'm way behind? And when people are, having this performance shield, they could be using a well curated social media profile to hide those emptiness, right? The career emptiness, the personal emptiness. But, up front, it's showing like, oh, you're experiencing so much professional success. But deep down, they know that, see, you guys don't want to see what I look like inside. I'm a total mess. And this can take this modern toll on people when you're living in a modern silo, because at that point, You are not expressing yourself the way you should. You compartmentalize your life into separate boxes. You are someone else in church, someone else at workplace, someone else when you go out with friends, someone else in your family. Like, because you don't want to collapse under that weight of showing who you are. And of course, safe space is important. So if you're not even having that safe space to be yourself, then what are we talking about? And let me tell you that there's a research to back this up. There is this research that was done. Of course, I'm a researcher, so I can't come and talk to you here without just pointing out some of the core things that that even made me to come do this. There's this sound research body that was done by they call it the Core Harvard Study Book, and if you want to check them, that's the reference right there. But it's an 85-year Harvard study, so it means that they followed people for 85 years, like they're following, keeping up all these long data sets and all. And what they found out is that relationships are the number one predictor of physical health as we age. Has anyone ever thought about, okay, when I start making more money, right, I will be fine. Or if I just get this dream job, everything will just fall into place. Or, oh, if I can just, if I can just change my job. Like they followed people for 85 years and they found out that the number one predictor of physical health as we age is relationships. Your relationships can make you or mar you. If you find yourself in a toxic place, God forbid, say heavens forbid it, because it's just all a function of time. If you do not watch it, if you do not surround yourself with people who help you not to take in that toxicity, it only takes a function of time for you to start expressing whatever that toxic thing is, toxic culture, toxic workplace, toxic bosses, right? So just put that in one corner. And then another of these guys also found out that they did like this meta-analysis tracking of over 300,000 people. And they found out that a lack of deep social connection carries a health risk equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day because you lack social connection. So what's the difference between an addict or someone who struggles, right, with smoking and someone who lacks social connection? As humans, we are created for connection. We are social beings. I always tell people in my community, God did not create us for isolation. If you find yourself isolated, it's probably because you've not found yourself in the right space where they should be. Because if you surround yourself with the right people, now does it mean that will not have friction? Does it mean that will not experience a bit of tension from time to time? Of course, those things will be there. But if you are in the right space, right, I can bet with you that you are going to be increasing not only your physical health, but a whole lot of things about you will definitely improve. So if you're someone here, right, who does not have social connection, I can boldly say is equivalent to you smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Okay, now let me reveal this subject X to you. If anyone ever felt like subject X was me. It was Dr. T. I'm revealing myself, and those in my community know because I talk about it almost all the time. I used to be subject X. All of those cluelessness that you read about, that person who was struggling to make friends, struggling to express their creativity, struggling to even, like show their talent was me. Something changed. A lot of things changed. I'm not here to talk about the things that changed, but I can bet with you that some of the things that changed are a result of this hub I'm going to talk to you about. And that's why this hub is being unveiled today. Anyways, I am Subject X. If anyone ever felt like Subject X, I told you to put in the chat box. When Subject X, switched to Dr. T, I became the person that unlocked my vaults. I now started moving from auditing. There's a level you get to that you're just amassing certificates. You feel like, oh, I just need to learn this. I need to learn that. I need to gain knowledge. I was that person that was a continuous learner. I still am a continuous learner. I'm a lifelong learner. However, I have learned how to boldly deploy my gifts. There's a season to learn. There's a season to express. I became that person who is so vision full. When I'm talking to you about vision full, I'm telling you, like I moved from being someone that was like a chronic lone ranger to someone that understood what she should be doing and how she should be doing it. I had, I might, no, I don't have, I currently have, right? I had total freedom from directional fog. I began to have uncompromised sight, sharp sight, vision for every season. I moved from, just endlessly sketching in my notebook, to now knowing how to execute and the steps to take to executing the ideas that God was laying in my heart. I gained traction. I was no longer very frantic and just like, running from pillar to post. I understood what it means to have goals and have vision and break them down into bits, pieces by pieces. This is July already, right? Some of us did vision board with Dr. T last year in December or January. And one vision, one goal, you have not yet broken it brick by brick into progress and even be able to monitor that progress. I'm telling you, I had traction. I had sustainable, or I have sustainable harmony. We talk about like work-life balance, but I love to refer mine as I love to call mine harmony, because harmony just means that you can harmonize your life, understanding that some seasons will demand more from me from work, while some seasons will demand more from me, maybe as regards parenting or my family. So I learned to just have this sustainable harmony, understanding what each season requires, and then given what each season requires, what it means, without losing my sanity, without burning out. I began to have finish line evidence, because there's really nothing like, oh, you set goals, you do vision board, and then when it comes to making life altering decisions, right? You are just stagnated, right? I began to have finish line evidence. I began to experience what I call, by their fruit you shall know them. Like things began to show up. For example, we are setting up this up today is as a result of moving from subject X to Dr. T. I began to experience pace over panic. I was no longer panicky. It's not like November, July will come and I'll start saying, oh my God, what have I achieved? It's already July. I set goals at January. There is no panic, because I'm able to understand what is required of me per season and then just jump into it and give it what it takes. And I was, just self-pacing myself without burning out. And of course, the most important thing is that I gained tribe. I gained tribes. I don't want to say one tribe, because I began to connect. Like, I feel like you get to a season in your life when you've put so much things in place to begin to attract the right people. And also the right people also get attracted to you. And so I began to gain sound people, people who also are, people who are also builders in their own spaces. I began to connect with them, because I came to realize that you can't scale a big vision by just running faster. You scale a big vision, by changing your room and changing your tribe. And that's what happened with me. I'm that subject X. So for those who have not met me, I'm introducing myself now. I'm Dr. T. I wear so many hats, as I like to say. At the home front, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I have two beautiful girls, and I'm a family member. Some of my siblings are on this call. So I'm a cousin, I'm a sister, I'm everything. On the career front, I'm an educator, and I do have quite a number of experience in the university environment. So what I'm coming to talk to you about are also things that from experience I have seen them working with my students for over a decade. I'm also a clinical researcher. I do interesting research. I love that. And on the service arts end, I'm a founder of many community initiatives. I have a women's group. I'm sure many of them are here. I run a free book club. I have Inspire Growth Academy, and I'm also a community member. There's so many communities I also belong to that I'm sure they're ably represented here. On the passion end, of course, I'm very passionate about so many things. I'm a woman of many passions. So I'm a certified life coach, and I'm also a Dave Ramsey certified financial coach, and I'm a mentor to many. I serve as a children and teenagers teacher at the ministry end. But what I like to call the heart of all hearts is that one thing I'm passionate about, if you wake me up anytime, any day, I'm passionate about empowering people to live purposefully, empowering people to discover self, because I told you I moved from subject X to Dr. T, and I am committed to helping clueless minds People who are struggling, not people might not even be clueless necessarily, but they're struggling, trying to figure it out by themselves. I am committed, is one of the things that flows in my blood. I'm committed to helping people live purposefully and tell you that it is doable. But I would like to talk to you about just one community. I felt like, okay, I shouldn't just come and talk to you about Lighthouse Up without telling you about this amazing community that I belong to. It was officially founded in 2017, but we started as Damsels of Christ in 2015. We were all single sisters, serving the Lord passionately when I heard the Lord say, bring them all together. And then I was a sisters coordinator. I was the vice president of the youth in my church. And so, we started doing this sisters hangout in church, just praying together, just reading books together in 2015, 2016. And we had this amazing ex-course, holding my hand, and we're doing this. And I remember when I was going to get married, I was so happy to leave that community. I'm like, thank you, Lord. I was like, thank you, Lord. I'm finally free. I'm finally free from, all these sisters, right? And I remember that one of the things that happened was God told me, no, you're still going to continue that community and you are going to, hold on this married women. Once we start getting married, just bring them into a community and then stay together. Honestly, I struggled with it. But a week after my wedding, I set up the community. I remember we're just three, myself, Lulu, because Lulu, my amazing sister, got married like December before me. And then and then Nosti joined, Toyosi joined, Funke joined. Maybe we're like five of us. And then we started expanding. I didn't even know what we were supposed to be doing there, but I just knew that, okay, in the original group, we used to read books, we used to do so many fun activities. Okay, let's just keep up at it. But I can tell you that today, this tribe is one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. I thank God that, for those of us, the admins, and I don't do this by myself, we also have admins, that eventually, right, it became, this is a community that is going to teach women how to fulfill God's purpose across different spheres of life. So I give a shout out to my Maddox sisters. These are pictures. And we like to celebrate the love that we have for one another because we are all women. We're going to be celebrating our official 10 years, right, next year. But I'm trying to show you because if those of us, who did all of this together, just like say, oh, there's no point, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that. I don't know what would have become of so many people who have enjoyed the benefits of Madoc. So what am I trying to tell you? I moved from a chronic lone ranger to someone who started building spaces, who became a community builder. I became someone who also, I'm still a part of other communities. Like I have another community, Power Woman Network, who is not even domiciled like that in Nigeria, but we do have an international base in the US and also in the UK and in Nigeria. And one thing I've seen is that when you start preparing yourself for what is next to come, you will attract the right people, or you will just find yourself being pushed towards those people who will hold you and support your dreams. And I can tell you that what is happening to us, even in Mother community today, many people are beginning to express gift, right? Because we are like, what is the Lord teaching me in this season? Like it's like holding each other's hands to fulfill purpose. Now, I want to move to poll 2. And this poll is just also a very interactive poll. I will launch this poll right now. You should see it on your screen. Now, some people, when you think about joining a true community, what is that loudest hesitation in your mind? Thank you all. Thank you all for being honest. Thank you all for being honest. So I'm going to show the results of this poll right now and end the poll. Okay, so we see right here that 50% of people is a time crunch. Yes, it's time. Yes, thank you. It's time consuming. I cannot be a part of community because it's going to take too much of my time. And I'm afraid I won't be able to show up fully. And then we see 43% of people are guarding their hearts, right? Please let me protect my heart and just put a whole barricade round about it. Because trusting people, being in the right room, how do you even get there? Please tell me, enlighten me. And then we have like a tie between I'm a social battery and I've experienced um bond bridges in the past, which is absolutely fine. And yes, while I'm not saying that these reasons are not genuine, these reasons are not cogent, I mean, these reasons are very, very valid because they're your experiences. And I don't think they necessarily are going to change except you change them, except you choose to, okay, I know that this is what I'm going to, these are potential things that could happen in a community, but the the benefits of not, I mean, how did they say that thing? The disadvantages of not being a part of a community far outweighs the advantages. The advantages of being part of a community, the benefits far outweighs the disadvantages. So I better just put myself out there, particularly since I know I cannot do life alone. Remember, I told you guys about the modern silo, which is something that the world is tilting towards. The world is tilting towards. I remember growing up, and my mom used to be part of part of many communities actually. So I'm not even surprised. Sometimes my siblings will say, "Well, we're not surprised that you're doing what you're doing because my mom had committee of friends. She had these associations and all these things." And one of the things they would always do then would be when these friends are meeting, they bring their kids along, and then we kids can get to interact with one another, you know. And honestly, like today, as much as okay, we're not like body, but if we pick up the phone and talk to one another, it feels like there was no time that we were ever apart. All because some parents, some mothers, or some mothers in my case just felt like, oh, we can actually bring our kids together to just learn, to just know one another. And I'm telling you that is one of the blessings that ever happened to me in my life. Well, I want you guys to now meet Lighters Up. I'm not saying that Lighters Up is the only solution to all those challenges that I spotlighted earlier. But however, it is a place to help a young adult who is struggling with community building, who wants to be a part of something, who knows that I need this. I should not have to figure out life by myself. I can stand on the shoulders of giants to be able to get to where I need to get to. So, so what is the Lighthouse all about? Is I trust closely knitted ecosystem that is designed to help your life, your faith, and your future. I always used to tell myself something that if there was something I wish I had, maybe while I was in the university or when I graduated from the university immediately, right? It would have been just being a part of a community, either female or a mixed community, where I can learn, where I don't have to be the only person reading all these books by myself, where I can rub minds, I can bring things, I can talk to people. It can be a safe space for me to just come and just grow, right? So the Lighthouse Orb is a safe harbor, is a place where you are not designed to grow in isolation. I just talked to you about Madoc. Is a place where we keep expressing our gift every now and then. And for those of you who have followed me in Inspire Growth Academy, you will know that one of the frameworks I'm always passionate about building, though one of the frameworks I build, whatever thing I'm doing around, is this first framework, which kind of like revolves around spiritual maturity, personal mastery, health and wellness, education and academic excellence, relationship and community building, employability and professional growth, and then skills development. Most of the times I always revolve my stuff around this first framework. And if you have not read Dr. T's book, I do have a free ebook you can read to just get more understanding of why, like, this is what I had to do to grow. These are all the areas of my life I had to put into perspective and learn. I picked them one after the other over the span of a decade and worked on them and grew in them. And that's the reason why I can pass it on. Because when you think about it, you need all these areas. You need spiritual maturity, to be able to lay a solid foundation for your goals and values and purpose in life, right? You can't talk about personal mastery without thinking about mastering yourself first before you can even go out to lead other people. And if your health is not great, if you're not taking care of your body, your vehicle, there is no way it's going to deliver the job on the job it's supposed to do. And of course, you can't do anything without academic excellence. In everything you're doing, you cannot live in isolation. You need a community. You need to improve your relationships. And of course, I'm talking about professional development. You need that like you need air. And in everything, you need to be a skillful person. So if you're going to do all of this by yourself, do you know how long it takes? Do you know the effort it takes? You really have to be on top of your game, not even forgetting the number of years it's going to take you to do all of that. So that's why the Lighters Up exists, to help you to gain mastery across this first framework, to give you direction and focus, right? So many of us now, by the time we get to December, January, we're thinking about setting goals for the year to come. And year after year, you're setting those goals. But by middle of the year, there is no more direction. You've lost your steam. There is no more focus. You're already getting very, okay, you know what, I'll just go again next year. And then you keep going again every year. And you look back, 10 years has gone by, 15 years has gone by. You look back, you're like, oh, I wish I paid the price I needed to pay at that time, so that where I am today, I can enjoy it, right? And of course, it's a faith-based foundation. It gives you that solid foundation for your faith, because there is nothing you are doing that you are not aligning it with your purpose, your God-given purpose, with the talent and the gift that God has deposited inside of you. It's a place of consistency and accountability. You can ask my Maddox sisters. You will stay. Accountability will be your name. Consistency will be your second name. It's a place for targeted guidance and mentorship. For those who have been who have followed the Inspired Growth Academy, you see the caliber of people that God has blessed me with in some of the communities I belong to, right? That they can come and pour into your life, that they can come. And I mean, I have people already saying, Dr. T, if you have a need, you need someone to talk to your community, to this Lighters Up, count me in. I already have alumni lined up. Even my dog sisters, of course, they are not going to be here. They are going to be alumni because they have so much to also pour into the generation upcoming. And most importantly, is a safe community, supportive community to grow, right? We've been running our community for over 10 years, I mean, unofficially. But the safe space, what we say there stays there. It's a safe space to grow. It's a space of no judgment. It's a safe, it's a zone of no, I mean, we listen, we don't judge, but we call you out if we need to call you out. That's one thing we do. We'll say the truth in love, but I will not say the truth is a lie, but we'll say it in love. But you can count on that supportive community to grow. And I always like to say that even the Lighters Up is not like a restaurant. It's not the way you go to a restaurant and then you stay, in front of the counter and someone is serving you food and you just order and, oh, give me chicken, give me rice, give me salad. No way. This is a potluck. Anybody knows a potluck? What's a potluck? A potluck is a place where everybody brings something to the gathering. Oh, do you have mac? Oh, I'll bring mac and cheese. I'll bring chicken. I'll bring chin chin and gari. I'll bring granite. It's a potluck. So if you're not ready to be in a potluck, please, I'm using God to beg you. Don't show up in the Lighters Up. But a potluck is that you have gifts. And that's one thing I know. There is no one who is devoid of gifts. God has given everyone gifts and talents and abilities and capacity that everyone can learn something from you. So why audit? Why just listen only to Dr. T when there is so much embedded in you that we can learn from? So always remember that I said, Dr. T said, the Lighters Up is a potluck, it's not a restaurant. Say amen. All right, moving on. Potential members for the Lighters Up, of course, please, between 18 and 35 years, we want adult, those who are in the university, because they have that fresh, untainted energy. Recent graduate students, maybe you're in graduate school or you're currently just completing another degree, your master's or professional degree, whatever it is, that sharp, targeted execution potential. We want you in there. You could be a core member, serving your fatherland beautifully. You are most welcome, because at that point, you are guiding transitions. You are transitioning from one place to another, right? And you could also be like a graduate student or a recent graduate, just graduated, or you're also a graduate student or a young professional. You have this marketplace weight, like you just entered into the marketplace and you do have a lot to learn. You have a lot to also give out to people. You are most welcome. But yes, we are welcoming people between the ages of 18 and 35 years. And by the way, I don't want to see any Mad Dog sister in this community. You are all alumni. I don't want to see, of course, all my other networks are also like, I touch, network. So I'm sure they will not be here, but they might know one or two young adults who needs a space like this to grow. And you are most welcome to join us if you fall into this category. Now, let me tell you guys about the roadmap because I just said, let me just put a little bit about the roadmap so that you will not say, Dr. T, why are you not telling us what the things we do? The yearly roadmap of course, for this year, we're running it between just July to December, and then by next year, we'll start it off again. But the yearly roadmap is going to look like something like this. This is not the full thing, but something like this. For the Q1, we usually will be walking the routes. When I say walking the routes, those who have been in the academy understand what I mean by that. This is the phase for setting the right foundation and self-discovery. Here we're focusing on things like your purpose, right? Your spiritual habits, your identity, just like trying to put so much inside of you and remind you of who you are, the light you carry. You're walking the route because if you want to build a building and you want to raise up a building and the foundation is faulty, you can be rest assured that whatever you build on that is going to be crap. So we want to walk the route to ensure that your foundation is solid. Foundation and you're doing a lot there. Now, the Q2, we're going to be doing walking the edge. When I say walking the edge, is around like things like skill development. We're focusing on soft skills, hard skills you need to learn, right? We're talking so many conversations around that edges, the edges that will make you stand out wherever you go to. When we're working the rise in Q3, it means that at that point that you are rising, we're talking about your professional success. Here we're talking about job mastery, career mapping, career transitioning, career pivoting, everything that involves, just setting you up for that rise because yes, you will rise. And afterwards, we'll talk about working the legacy. When we're working the legacy, we're looking at your leadership. We're talking about business, entrepreneurship. We're talking about things that will make you to also be, to also pour value out to other people so that you're not just at that point of being a continuous student. You're thinking about the legacy you leave behind when the master calls you, right? And of course, everything that I put up here are things that are going to be happening all through the year. I mean, I'm talking about we're having weekly directional alignment text from Dr. T, right? We're aligning our weeks because there's no point setting goals for a year and not breaking them down into what is achievable by the week, right? So we're talking about weekly direction alignment. We're talking about spiritual devotions, right? We're just talking things that would help us, work that purpose and the identity and habits that can help us because I'm very, very big on having that solid foundation, building on that solid foundation of God, of your faith, so that whatever else you're going to build on is not going to be haphazard, right? And of course, you can't be with Dr. T. I hope you know now for a year or for longer than a year, for those who might stay there for longer than a year and not have book club conversations. No way, it's not happening. We're going to read books. We're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to work up those mindsets. We're going to read from other people as well and just equip our mindset and equip ourselves to be able to pour out even by the time we're stepping out. And then, of course, there'll be common room conversation, which happens to be my favorite place in the entire thing I'm talking about. The place for unfiltered gist and rants and everything. There'll be learning and bonding live sessions where we're going to be having fireside talks. We're going to be having panel sessions. We're going to be having a lot of fun things, group coaching sessions. We're going to be having accountability circles. Yes, there'll be monthly growth report submission. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you're planning for the next month to come. I want to know how you used up your month. You're going to learn all those things. We're going to have guest sessions. I mean, I have alumni. If it's people now water, by the grace of God, there are people who are willing to pour into young adults, who are willing. They just need, just need to say, okay, we have the people waiting, and then we have, I'm not saying shabby people, deep people with depth, people, hey, God will help us. We have people that are willing to pour from different spheres and walks of life. Member or seat session. My mother sisters will understand this one because, of course, how do we get to know you? That's how we get to know you. Down the line, we're going to be having in-person events, networking opportunities, and I'm not going to be doing this by myself. I'm going to have people working with me, my amazing council of builders. For those who are going to sign up for the hub, yes, you'll get to meet my council of builders down the line. Is anybody following me? If anyone is excited, I've not even seen your emojis, even though I can't see my chat, but I'm not seeing your emojis. I'm not seeing the excitement. I'm not seeing the energy. Emanuela, I'm not seeing the energy from people. Okay. And of course, for this, I told you that that's the yearly roadmap, right? For this 6 months, this is July to December, we're just going to lump some of those things together to ensure that we can still get the best out of our time together, meaning that yes, July is going to be for onboarding and orientation, which we're already doing part of it now. I'm introducing you to the hub, and then we're going to have our orientation for those who sign up. We'll have our orientation somewhere in the middle of July. We're going to familiarize ourselves with the members, the council of builders, those who will be working with me in July. And then by August, we start with those foundations. We're going to ground ourselves in every ground our professional ambition in a solid, I told you, solid spiritual foundation and divine purpose. We need to be clear about who we are, what we carry, whose we are, right? And then by September, we'll look at something related to the art of influence. How do you develop internal discipline and optimize yourself for high performance without compromising on what matters, not compromising on your health. Health now can be mental, nutritional, financial, just not compromising on your health. Then we move to just gaining a bit of mastery about the marketplace. How can I cultivate a rigorous intellectual edge that will make me to stand out, that will make me to be indispensable in the marketplace, right? We move into, strategic leadership, where we're looking at some of the soft skills and technical skills we need to build to be able to excel in today's world. And of course, we will wrap up in December and we set the group, and we're going to have reflections, Thanksgiving, vision mapping. And of course, if you're interested, you're going to be recommitting yourself to the Lighthouse Up. We'll be reading 3 books together. Let me just put it out here like that. We will be reading 3 books together: Purpose Driven Life, 5 a.m. Club, and 12-Year Week. You might have read these books. You might have read these books before, just like me. But however, you can read a book and still not get out what you need to get out from a book until you read it like multiple times. Most times, you may have to read a book like more than 5 times, or some people will say more than 7, 8 times for you to be able to pick out things. Because as you are growing and you're expanding and your seasons are changing, also your orientation and your perception about life is changing. So you might read a book today and something else will stand out to you in that book tomorrow. So those are the books we'll be engaging with in this 6 months. Now, of course, I have another poll for you. Why will I not have poll? Okay, let me launch this poll for you now. And I want you guys to be honest. Please be honest with me. I've introduced the lighthouse of that's it. That's the introduction. There's no extra, any other introduction needed. I've pulled back this curtain for the lighthouse up, and the gates are going to be opening tonight. What is your choice for the rest of 2026? Or what is the choice of that young adult you have around you? It might not even be your choice. It might be, okay, I know someone who needs this. Like I just know, as Dr. T was talking, some names were dropping, like some names were just already dropping, deep down. Honest feedback, everyone, for being honest. Your honesty is very much appreciated. So, yeah, what is the next thing for those who are ready to jump on board this train? I'm still just going to leave the poll running. For those who are ready to jump on board this train, yes, the cohort applications are officially open right now. As I'm speaking now, they're already open, and you have the QR code right there. You can also just like type that in and fill out your form, complete that intake form, submit it, fill out the form honestly. You guys by now, you will fill out form. You will fill out form, sure. And so when you fill out that form, then it doesn't mean that because you filled out the form, you will get it automatically. I want to see your responses. I want to understand, your thought process behind that. I want to see if, just to be able to ensure that we're having a high trust standard as well, right? It would be great to just review potential members. Yes, so I'm not just going to tell you to join the community like that. If you fill out the form and then you are, you're selected, the notification of acceptance will be sent to you within a week of filling out the form, and then you'll be onboarded to the community, and then you will attend the orientation. I don't want this up to be a place where anyone and anybody and everybody can just join at any time. I want it to be, I thought through the process, right? I I took my time to also pray through the process, and I signed up for this because when I say I signed up for something, my mother sisters are here. You don't want to know the number of times we've reset our community over the past 9 years. Yes, we reset our community because we need each other's fire, and we cannot rely on stale fire. We cannot rely on people who are not willing to bring their own part of, bring their own, their own portion of the potluck, because we're not going to be having a full meal. So take your time to pray about this. Take your time to think through this. Take your time to, even if it's possible, reach out to Dr. T and ask more questions if you need to, because if you're in and you are not doing what is expected, yes, there is the door that also leads out. If you think this is a community for just, oh, I'm just going to hang around the corner, no, I'm never doing a community where you hang around the corner. You can't look around. You cannot. It is not allowed to look around, because remember, I always tell you that everybody has something they carry. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has a talent. And I will not stand back and watch you hide your talent when it could have been shared, and we could learn from you, and we could be better because you're expressing your gifts. Somebody say amen. All right. So if you're still taking your time to think about it, I do have these upper resources that might just be what you need to test the waters. I have this free ebook, Navigating Life Transitions. It's also written for young adults. I spoke about this first framework there, broke it down, put relatable stories of how I had to develop each component of this framework. And so you can find it just a very short read, and I think you might find it interesting. So feel free to scan the QR code. At the same time, yes, we also have, I have a book club that I lead, the World Deep Book Club. We meet every 2 weeks. It's a bi-weekly book club. It's absolutely free. And right there, we read books, we review books. In fact, we are closing up the current book we are reading on Sunday, and then we'll be starting another book. And you might just, maybe that is just what you need in this season to be able to prepare yourself for whatever tribe, right? You might want to find yourself in the future, either the Lighters Up or any other tribe that shows up at your doorstep. And of course, there is the link to the Lighters Up member intake form. If you are ready to make that decision, we are excited to have you already. The link is there, and you can just scan the QR code and you will have access to that. And I would say, let's connect. Yes, I'm right there, social media. Let's connect. We have Inspire Good Academy website is active. You can find me on YouTube. You can watch some of my previous videos on YouTube under Dr. Tolulope Olawole, and of course on Instagram I'm there as Inspire Great Academy. I thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I will hand over to Emanuela for Q&A if you have any questions. However, I'll just leave the QR code on the page so that if anyone wants to scan any of the QR codes, you're free to do that. Thank you so much for listening.